Welcome to Suite 301. My name's Christian Smith. This is my first time hosting by myself, so I'm a little nervous. I'm freaking out right now. But yeah, this is the, September edition of Suite 301. If you've tuned in before, you know exactly what it is. It's our monthly webcast talking about all of our different sports, baseball, basketball, football, missing one, softball. Gives you a little behind-the-scenes look, all the things that are happening. So make sure that you tune in from now to the end of the show. We got a lot of great information. We would love to hear from you. If you want to call in, right on this phone right here, I'm going to pick it up. 412-321-8440. It's extension 107. There's also a chat box, correct, that you can type in questions, and we'll read them aloud over the air. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter for more updates. And again, just make sure you stay to the end of the show because we got a lot of great information. I want to get started right away. I'm going to bring in the legendary Mitch Connor. We're going to talk some NCBBA basketball. How you doing, Mitch?
I'm doing well.
You look good.
Legendary. I appreciate it. You look good as well. How you doing? You okay?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Was that a good opening?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Picture perfect.
Lots going on in basketball. I hear you on the phone. We're going to get talking about new teams that have come on board, but what else is going on in club basketball that teams need to be aware of? Equipment forms, things like that?
Yeah, things are really starting to get rolling now. The season is set to kick off November 1st. The season will officially start. So we're getting started with ordering the basketballs. That's the first big thing. You should have gotten that email late last week for ordering your basketballs. It's the equipment form we emailed out. Just give us the address, and we'll get you your free NCBBA stamped basketballs. You see one right there on the table. Wilson Evolution with the NCBBA stamp. We'll get you a nice shot of it there on the screen. So
good ball.
That's a great ball. Great ball. Seen it go in the net plenty of times.
Yes.
It's going to improve your shooting percentage. Next thing you're going to see coming out is the scheduling request form. And if you're looking at your email right now, you probably just got it 5 minutes ago. And that is your form to help us set up your conference schedule. You're going to fill out that form based on days that you're going to be away from campus and you can't play, or games that you already have scheduled. We encourage you to play non-conference games. So if there are some opponents you have nearby and you want to play them, even if they're not in the league at all or yet, more than likely yet, go ahead and put that on the form, and we'll work around that because we want you to play as much basketball as possible. And you're going to get more information about this tomorrow, but the NCBBA is going to host a basketball tournament here. We're going to put that on in mid-November.
Nice.
It's going to be in Morgantown, West Virginia.
Okay.
So
nice neutral location for a lot of teams.
it's a great location, yeah. So look for that to be coming to your inbox here probably tomorrow.
Okay.
All the cool details about that.
What about, has there been realignment going on? I know, maybe we'll get into it now. There's been a lot of growth with the NCBA, or at least a lot of new teams coming on board, correct?
Right. The alignment hasn't happened officially yet. We've been talking about it, of course. Officially, it hasn't happened because new teams are coming on every day.
Yep.
I mean, let's talk about that now. Since the last time we talked here on the show about it, we've had 6 new teams join. Yeah. I think we've had 10 since last season. So the growth is happening. That's really, you go from 26 teams, you add 10 more. That's pretty substantial.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're working on realignment while continuing to add teams, and there are a couple teams who I'm speaking with almost on a daily basis to get them involved. It's a challenge to realign now. Absolutely. When we might have to just redo it once they come.
I'm familiar with that. You got to wait till those new teams come on board before, like you said, before you realign, because you're going to do it again.
Right.
But I did hear you on the phone. That's very exciting. The amount of new teams coming on board.
That's nice.
Is that maybe is there a correlation between how great the first ever national championship was with the new teams coming on board? Maybe hearing about how great it was.
I'm definitely going to say yes. Speaking to the teams that were there, specifically Lewis and Virginia Tech, who have really done a great job of spreading the word to the teams that they played and talked about just how great the event was. We've had the luxury of seeing a few tournaments put on by these club teams who weren't members of the NCBBA. We got to see how they were operated, and they did a fine job, you know. And then you see the caliber of the event that the national championship is,
Yeah.
with the scores table, a full panel, live statistics, music, art.
Great PA guy.
The absolute best PA guy that you're ever going to see out there. Great officials, locker rooms, pregame warm-ups,
Yep.
starting lineups, national anthem, the whole deal. You really can't beat it. Once Virginia Tech and Lewis started talking to these teams and said, like, hey, this is what you're getting.
Mhm.
You need to get involved. We started to hear from some teams.
That's great.
Yes.
And then speaking of that,
Mhm.
are we locked in for 2015 for the national championship?
We're locked in. We're going to return to LaRoche College. That's here in North Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Beautiful facility, just state-of-the-art gym, fantastic locker rooms, 4 locker rooms, so the teams that are on the court playing have their locker rooms secured, and then the teams who are getting ready to play the next set of games can be
Perfect.
getting in there, getting set up, doing their little pregame rituals, whatever you have. There's no more changing in the bathrooms before games
Yep.
for this event. This is the real deal here. So,
Well, yeah, I know I experienced it, and being the PA guy, and it was just an amazing event. Hats off to you for putting it on. I know, for a first year doing it, there's obviously some
growing pains.
growing pains, but the teams that were there loved it, and I'm happy to hear that LaRoche is we're going back to LaRoche because they did put on a great tournament, and I know the teams are going to be really, really excited about possibly getting back there. So
I'm sure it was a fantastic experience for everybody there, and thank you for doing the PA. You're the man.
I tried my best.
We'll be coming back to
there
you
was
if
a
you're
lot of
available.
there was a lot of teams that had some names that were challenging. Kalichi Ihaguara from UConn.
Yeah, if
I
you're
remember.
watching, still got you down.
Omar from West Virginia. So, yeah, that was an awesome event, and I know the teams. Again, it's just gonna that snowball effect where more teams get involved. They're going to want it. They're going to tell teams about it and things like that. I believe we have a caller from the University of Kentucky.
Yeah. Sweet 301. This is Mitch.
This is Ethan. How are you?
Hey, Ethan. I'm doing well. Are you with Aaron also?
Aaron is not here yet, but we are okay.
No problem. If he walks in, just let me know, and we'll chat with him as well. So, for those viewers, this is Ethan Stewart. Ethan is a representative of the University of Kentucky club basketball team. They just joined this past month to be a member of the league. So, Ethan, give us a little background on UK club basketball.
All right, so this is our second year here on campus. We are looking to improve off of last season. We did a little bit. We played in the local league here in Lexington. We went to the Ohio State tournament. But this year we're just looking to get a little more involved, play a little bit more, have a much better team.
Awesome. Is your roster finalized, or do you know how many guys you plan to carry this year?
Our roster will be finalized tomorrow. We have our second day of tryouts. We are looking to keep around 20 guys this year. So we are finishing up with our callback tryouts tomorrow.
Awesome. How many guys came out?
We had right around 45 guys come out for tryouts.
That's awesome. What specifically made you want to get involved with the club basketball team?
I've been very close with the club baseball team here on campus, and seeing how the club, the NCBA, worked for them and how they had a conference. I really want to get that strict schedule down for us as well. Have that conference, have the opportunity to play for a national title. So that was something that when I came and got involved with the executives here for the club basketball team, that was something I wanted to get us into.
That's awesome. I hope you guys make it. We would love to see you competing here in Pittsburgh for the national championship. So give us a little bit of a little prediction for your team. I know the roster is just being set up here, but based on the guys that you know you're going to carry, maybe the senior leadership, the guys that are probably going to be starting, what are the strengths?
We are looking very good, especially in our guard position. We get a lot of guards come out with a lot of very strong guards. We will be a very good shooting team, and we are very athletic, so we will be able to board. Any of those missed shots, we will be able to clean them up and get those, I would say, the slot points, if you will.
Cool. Ethan, this is Christian Smith, the host of the show. I wanted to see, did you have any, or do you work at all with the varsity basketball team on campus?
We are not currently working with the varsity program here on campus. We do have some connections with the women's basketball team. Some of the managers and stuff help us out. That's how we got some practice uniforms and stuff from them. But as of right now, we are not involved with the varsity team.
Okay.
Think if you scrimmaged them, you could beat them?
What was that?
You think if you scrimmaged them, you'd beat them?
Oh, no.
We're just teasing. All right, Ethan, one final question for you. Give me your expectations for this season.
I'm looking for us to come out, compete in our conference. Definitely have a chance with the guys that we have seen to come out and compete and possibly win. I'm not going to say that we will, but I do think that our chances are very high with the guys we have seen that we are looking to keep with us.
That's awesome. We can't wait to see you hit the hardwood. Any closing thoughts before we let you go?
Nothing on my part, just for everybody, be on the lookout for the UK Club Basketball. We are ready. We are coming.
Boom.
Heard it here first. Thank you, Ethan. We really
Thanks,
appreciate
Ethan.
your time.
Thank you, sir.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
There we
Ethan
go.
Stewart, Kentucky. I mean, it's a big school. It's known for its basketball. Head coaches from Clarion University.
There you go.
I've never even heard of Clarion University, but that's true. So yeah, I mean, I would expect probably some pretty big things out of them.
Absolutely. I think they're
20 guys on the roster. Solid.
Bringing 45 in and trimming it down to
Yeah.
20. That's nice. There's going to be some talent there.
Get them an A team and a B team.
We could.
Hey,
It's not too late. They still got time to sign up.
well, Mitch, thank you. Basketball teams, you should be excited. A lot of big things coming up. So I appreciate your time, Mitch.
Hey, I appreciate it as well. If you know somebody that we should be getting involved, have them get at me.
Yep.
412-321-8440, extension 105.
And that's not to be confused with if you want to call in 412-321-8440, extension 107.
There you go.
Thanks, Mitch.
Sir.
Peace and blessings.
Appreciate your time.
We're going to jump right into the next segment of our show. The also legendary Eric Curator. How are you, buddy?
Christian, doing very good.
You look good in red.
Oh, thanks, man. You look great in blue. Doing a nice job
Thank
hosting
you.
by yourself.
Yeah, we'll see when the ratings come out tomorrow.
So what are we chatting about?
Let's chat about some baseball. You're D2. I'm overseeing D1. That
Yep.
seems like a natural conversation you and I would have, right?
So I think we're having a little round table here. Let's start maybe with equipment forms.
That's your alley.
Okay, you want me to talk about equipment forms? All right. Well, Craig in our office, the Rawlings guy, you should be seeing an equipment form automatically if you're a fall team. You should have hopefully turned in by now. Your baseballs, your bats, your D1 team, get your equipment. You need that in because you're
Yeah.
going to be playing fall games. I know D2, we got a lot of games this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
D1, you probably have some too. But if you're a fall team, you need to get that in ASAP.
The sooner you send it in, the sooner you get your stuff, right?
It's free stuff.
It's free.
You can
So-
practice with it. You're going to need it for your games, the baseballs especially. You don't want to get forfeits or anything this early on. So,
But
get
everybody
those.
has them now.
The D1 teams for spring only will get them later today.
Okay.
And then the D2 spring only teams will get them tomorrow.
Okay. So
So by the end of the day tomorrow, everybody will have them. You'll have the opportunity to get them back to Craig. And
so worst, end of the week, everybody's got their equipment, or they should have
Yeah.
them in their equipment in their email.
Yeah.
So look out for that. Again, the sooner you send that back to Craig, is it?
Yes.
You can send it to Craig. The sooner you're going to get your stuff. So don't procrastinate on that. Fill it out accurately and get it back in.
it's really easy. It takes no more than 2 or 3 minutes. You're just literally putting an address in.
Yeah.
It's easy stuff.
The other big thing going on for teams that are playing in the fall, that's districts 1, 2, 5, and 6, and in D1, the Great Lakes and the North Atlantic, is getting your rosters in. And what do we mean by rosters? We mean
The academic eligibility letter.
Yes, and what else
which
do
is
they
the
have
most
to do?
important part because that
Yep.
takes the longest time.
Yep.
And then you also need your players to register online, which takes a matter of minutes. But that
Yep.
academic eligibility letter, like I was saying before, it takes the longest time just because there's a lot of red tape involved. You got to submit it to your school. A lot of people have to sign off on it. It takes a little bit of time, so you need to get a head start on that pretty
And
quick.
there's a lot of games in D2 this
Yeah.
upcoming weekend. So if you're one of those teams that plays, you need to have your roster, and you need to have at least 9 guys on your roster, or it's an automatic forfeit. So make sure your guys, tell them right now, register online. It takes a few minutes, and be on that academic letter. And there's two example forms that you can download from the NCBA site under the info tab. You know, whatever one works better for you, you can certainly use, but can't stress enough how important it is to have your rosters in, because if you don't have them in, you forfeit, and nobody wants to forfeit.
Not at all.
And if you're a D1 team, you're giving up $100 of your performance bond too. So get it done. If you have questions, contact your regional director. Speaking of rosters, I mean, we do have quite a
Got a
few
lot of games
conference
too.
games.
Yeah. I got
This-
a whole list here.
Wow, yeah. I mean, we don't have to go through all of them.
I was just going to touch.
You want to touch the key ones?
Just
some
the key
maybe
ones.
some big matchups.
Just some
week
big
one?
matchups.
Okay, that sounds
Cal
fun.
PA and Akron. Akron returning World Series team, as you would know, former
That's
D2.
that's a big matchup right
It
out of
is,
the gate.
Right out of the gate.
Cal's a
Week
good
one,
team.
Cal was in the district final last year.
Yes, in the championship game
Yep,
against
the championship.
Akron, I believe.
Yes.
Whoa!
So little rematch
right
there
out the
week
gates,
one.
yo.
We got a lot of new teams. Clarkson going to be playing Colgate.
Cool.
We'll see how they are. IUP, Indiana University, is playing Penn State, another World
Ooh.
Series team. So it's a tough conference matchup right away. We'll see where you stand.
Okay, cool.
I had a couple other real quick notes. Another new team, Wisconsin Superior.
Yeah.
It's always exciting to see new teams. See
Who
how
they
are.
playing?
They are playing Northern Michigan.
All right,
It's
cool.
usually pretty good too. So, week one, it's very hard to project how the year.
Yeah,
is gonna
yeah,
be.
yeah.
So it's just easier to touch on some exciting matchups and stuff like that.
As
So,
far as D1, I'm actually more familiar with D2 teams just because I've worked with D2 teams the last 3 years. But with my new role in D1, not having the team previews out,
yeah, it's hard.
we don't know who's coming back and things like that, so we can't really make big predictions on who's going to be strong this year. But I know there's a lot of non-conference games, at least in Division One, especially in the North Atlantic. A lot of Penn States, things like that. So a lot of games this upcoming weekend. Take care of your business off the field, which is your rosters and things like that, because the last thing we want to do is reward forfeits right out of the gate in the first weekend. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's just exciting to have baseball back again.
It seems like we just got finished with the World Series.
It'll be here before you know it.
Yep. So, and we're going to touch on fall tournaments that we have coming up. Battle Creek Blast, the BCB. It's in. Got a banner over the calendar. It's in
It's
2
coming
weeks,
up.
not this weekend, but the
Yep.
next weekend. Filled. No more. You can't get in it anymore. Sorry. 8 teams. It's at Bailey Park. Is it a wood bat tournament? Nope, it's aluminum. We also have the Greenville, which we put on.
Yep.
It's our 3rd year. That is also
12
filled.
team.
12 teams. Should have the schedule out probably this week. State College Classic hosted by Mitch Connor.
Wood bat.
Wood bat, there you go. October 3rd through 5th. That's a 12-teamer. Awesome. And then the other one's Wood Wars, which Ryan Norris puts on. Great event. Really excited about it. So that's really all we have
That's all we
for baseball. We do have a caller coming in, I believe.
Should be a good one. Norm
Yeah.
Doyle.
Oh yeah. Norm Doyle. But yeah,
All right.
thank you,
No problem.
Eric.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Take care. Just to touch on, we did add a new team from this last time's Gettysburg College. It was a nice battle back in the 1800s in Gettysburg. Got caller coming in. Is this Norm Doyle?
This is.
Hi, Norm. It's Christian Smith. How are you?
I'm good, Christian. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. I'm excited to just talk with you on the phone. For you out there watching, Norm Doyle, a 2-time national champion in 2012 and this past year, 2014, with Utah State. Norm is now the Northern Pacific Regional Director. He took over from Dano, who's been in the Northern NOPAC Regional Director for I don't even know how many years, several years. I'm tremendously excited to have you on board. You have such a wealth of knowledge. You've won 2 national championships. From your end, what made you want to, because you retired from coaching, what made you want to stay involved with the NCBA?
Well, I loved coaching. I loved being involved with the guys, with baseball, with the NCBA. It's been an incredible experience for me. I've been in
involved with coaching at Utah State for 8 years now. The past 3 as the head coach. But for those that are involved in coaching, they know it's a huge commitment. And I just needed to start focusing a little bit more energies on my business. And but I wanted to stay involved some way, somehow. And this opportunity came around just at the right time, and it's just perfect for me personally. I'll be able to focus more on my business, but also keep my fingers involved in the game and in the NCBA. And I'm just incredibly excited and looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, we're thrilled, like I said, to have you. I know why you are a good fit for this position, but why don't you tell, if there's any teams in the Northern Pacific region or just listeners in general, why do you think you're a good fit, for the Northern Pacific Regional Director position?
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. One is I've been involved in the NOPAC for 8 years now, and I've seen a lot. I've been to region tournaments multiple times. I've been to the World Series twice. I've served as an assistant coach and a head coach, and so I know what it takes, both on the organizational side as well as the coaching side, as well as the NCBA side, and so I feel like I've got a fair amount of information and knowledge that maybe those schools out there that are needing some help with some things, I can answer questions for them, and I can point them in the right direction, and I think I can be a resource for them in helping their programs grow. We've had a pretty successful program at Utah State University, and I just feel pretty blessed and lucky that I was able to be part of that. The players are the ones that go out and get the wins and losses, and as a coach, I've just tried to keep them directed and in the right direction and stay out of their way.
Yeah.
So, so I've been around for a while, and I've experienced a lot, and I think I can share that and help teams excel.
And Norm, I mean, I would tell all the teams, especially in the Northern Pacific region, to pick your brain because, like you said, you've won 2 national championships. You've been to the World Series. You've been to 2 World Series that were East Coast based, which cost, I'm sure, your program tons of money, which, fundraising had to come into play. So I know any teams out there are struggling or just looking to get ideas on how to succeed off the field, on the field, to pick your brain. I would encourage all teams to do that. Are you still staying involved with Utah State, or are you kind of separating yourself completely from them?
No, I've separated myself from them and felt that was, especially now that I'm the region director, that's the right thing to do. I don't want to have other schools out there looking at me and saying, "Oh, well, he's going to be favoring Utah State." Utah State, of course, will always have a warm spot in my heart, but going forward, they're just one of the teams now to me in the Northern Pacific, and I'm going to be impartial. I'm willing to share, whatever I can with anybody to help them out in their program, help make their program better, help make the Northern Pacific as good as it possibly can be.
Awesome.
The Utah State University plays their games just around the corner from where I live, and I'll be over there watching some of their games, but I'm not part of their program in any way, shape, or form anymore.
Cool. And then I know you haven't been the Northern Pacific regional director for a long time, but you've been involved with it, being a coach. Who do you think this upcoming year, is there any teams, maybe it's Utah State, is there any team that you think's the team to beat in the Northern Pacific region this year?
Well, you've always got to look out for the defending champion, which is Utah State.
Absolutely.
And I did go over and watch some of their tryouts, and they've reloaded. They've got a ton of outstanding ball players that came out for tryouts, and the biggest problem their new coach is going to have at this point is getting them to all gel together and narrow it down to a manageable team. So I know Utah State University is reloaded, and they are going to be very strong. I don't know a whole lot about what the other teams have coming. I know a little bit about Idaho State, the Bob Hunt's program. He's always running a good program. They've already got a couple of fall games under their belt, and they're looking pretty good. So I wouldn't look past Idaho State at all. Oregon, always strong program. Montana typically has a strong program. Western and Eastern Washington typically have strong programs. There's a lot of good baseball out here in the Northern Pacific, and any number of teams could potentially walk away with the championship and head to the World Series in Kentucky next May.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to see how it plays out. Again, we're, as you know, the NCBA, just thrilled to have you a part, being the NOPAC regional director. Again, any teams out there, Norm is with the NCBA, and he's, like you said, he's impartial and wants to help everybody out, and I highly encourage you to pick his brain because he's seen it all, he's done it all, he's won 2 national championships. So, Norm, thank you for your time, and I'm sure I'll be talking with you down the road.
Yeah, we will, and thanks so much for having me on, and just looking forward to working with you guys and with all the teams in the Northern Pacific.
Awesome, Norm. Thanks. Have a great day.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks a lot.
Alrighty.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye. Norm Doyle, extremely excited to have him, involved with the NCBA. Whenever he told us that he was retiring from Utah State as the coach, we saw a big chance to get him on board. So we're excited about it, and also want to thank Dano for the years of service he gave the Northern Pacific region. He's been around for a very, very long time. He had to move on. It was just becoming a little bit too much with him being in Texas, but I do want to thank Dano for all his efforts the past 10, 15 years, whatever he's been here. I want to talk softball. I want to get Savannah on the line. I'm calling her? I have to do this upside down? Okay, that's kind of difficult. 103. Well, you had 770-377 on there, so that's what I was going to do. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Savannah. How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's great talking to you. This is Christian, if you didn't know.
Yep, I knew. I've been watching.
Oh. I'm going to get Savannah back on the line. Watch it go to voicemail. This is going splendid.
You hung up on me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That was my bad.
Man.
I do want to talk to you. I just got
Start
my hands are
over.
I'm shaking and I'm whatever. Anyway, let's talk softball.
Okay.
We touched on with baseball and basketball. Softball teams are getting free equipment as well, and those equipment forms have gone out. Maybe you're not the person.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
And
they are getting the 24 softballs that they get. And Craig has informed me that there are approximately only 10 teams that he hasn't heard from. So
that's good.
if you're one of those 10 teams, definitely you want to be able to get your softballs. All we need is an address to be able to get those softballs out to you.
And especially, and I'm not very read up on softball if there's games and stuff going on, but is there a lot of games happening this upcoming weekend?
This is the opening week for the season. The season started technically yesterday, the 15th, but there are 31 NCSA teams playing this weekend. So,
that's awesome.
Almost, over a quarter of the teams are already going to be playing. And with the new roster rule, which is the same as baseball, it's mandatory that you have that roster posted, at least 9 players, or those are going to be forfeits, in favor of your opponent. So.
Yep.
Definitely want to get those rosters in, the online player registration, as well as the academic eligibility letter, just like you and Eric were talking about with baseball.
I don't think we can say it enough how important it is because, you need to have those in. And did you say that you have to have at least 9 on the roster, or it's a forfeit?
At least 9.
Yeah,
Yep.
so if 31 teams are playing, that's a lot of teams that need to get their rosters in. So it's a very simple process. It's not hard to do, but you want to make sure that you get it taken care of. Team previews and the preseason pool came out last week. The team previews, you're able to kind of get a read up on what teams are looking like for this upcoming season. Who are your, not the preseason pool, but who are your top 3 picks this year?
Well, I really like how the poll actually came out. I do think that Florida, the reigning champions, are going to be up there. They only lost 1 player from their last year's national championship team.
Wow.
So I think that they are going to be the team to beat this year. Unlike last year, they were kind of a sleeper team. Nobody really expected anything till the latter half of the season. So I don't think that it's going to be the case this year. I think they're going to be the team to beat. And then I think maybe FSU is going to have another good year. They're always in the mix. A couple of teams that might surprise us might be teams like Kansas, who has 14 returners from last year's team. I'm hoping a new team. I know Kentucky, surprised us last year. They were a brand new team last year, made it to the World Series, and now, they're ranked 12th coming into the preseason. Some new teams that got some votes would be Radford and Drexel, and I'd love to see them surprise everybody and be our sleeper team. So a lot of exciting potential.
Good,
here.
cool. How many new teams have joined for this upcoming year?
A lot. We've got 102 teams
Wow.
in the NCSA as of right now.
That's awesome.
And
That's awesome.
possibly going to be adding more in the coming weeks, in the South Atlantic South and the SOPAC.
Okay, cool. Well, that's great.
So.
I want to, we're running a little short on time, but I definitely want to talk about spring training. This year it's in March again, obviously, but you're already starting registration. Is that correct?
Exactly. We're 2 months away from yesterday is the registration deadline to get that discounted registration. So November 15th is going to be that discounted registration deadline. Teams this year we may fill up, and it may be a first come first serve basis. So definitely teams want to get registered for that. For the NCSA tournament, we added an extra week, so there's going to be even more opportunity for teams to come down those 3 middle weeks in March.
That's awesome.
Teams can keep an eye out for the hotels press release to be sent out later this week. We've officially signed those 5 hotels. It's mandatory that teams stay at one of those 5 hotels. So teams can check that out on the website.
Okay. There's also a blog that's is
right.
Kelsey heading that up?
Kelsey's brainchild.
Nice.
We've had 2 posts. So one that Kelsey did kind of talking about what spring training is, and then the one that I just did maybe, from my perspective. But, we have plans to have all kinds of different perspective posts on there. So definitely keep an eye out for that, and we're just hoping that it'll, put some more hype out there about what spring training is and give maybe some testimonials.
I hear Pete Chaufin's the next guy on the blog, or the next blogger.
He's making a return appearance for us, so.
Well, good. Free agent team, is that something that's going to be available for individuals that might not have a entire team to come down? Is the free agent team going to be available?
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be available. We're actually doing baseball and softball this year. So
That's great.
Kelsey's the person to contact for softball. Eric's the person to contact for baseball. But definitely, if people are interested in that.
Well, I know I can tell you, if you are a team that's on the fence about spring training, to do it. I guarantee if you do it, you'll be going back year after year. For the free agent team, if you can't get a whole team down there, you don't have to be you could be a coach, an alumni. It could be basically anybody, correct?
Correct. It could be your neighbor from high school or something.
Which,
right?
Funny you said that. My neighbor is interested, so
Okay,
I'll have them get in touch with you. Thanks for your time, Sav. If you have questions about softball or spring training, make sure to get in touch with Savannah. Talk to you soon. Thank you for your time.
Have a good one.
All right, Sav. Bye. Savannah Aarons, everybody. Nice. Let's bring in the Chief. Talk a little football.
Hey Christian, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
If I were any better, I'd be you.
David Boyd.
Absolutely.
Cut his hair.
Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, probably a different haircut from the last.
Yeah, you know how it is. I change things up.
Yes, you do. Well, I want to talk football. I mean,
Good. That's why I'm here. So,
well,
what do you want to know?
the season's underway.
Absolutely. September 1st. September 1st kicked off the NCFA season, and we are at it full bore now. I mean, week 1 was light, only 2 games on the schedule. The big thing there, Middle Georgia State beat up on Columbus State pretty good, 51-7. This past weekend was week 2. Had some interesting games there. Coppin State, two-time defending national champion. Tight ball game against Stevenson University's JV. Defeated them 20-13. George Mason out the gate with a conference game. Started the season with a conference game. 21-0 shutout of Longwood. Big interesting one here. OC Tech, a team that's always been pretty strong. Probably the favorite to win the South Atlantic Conference. They got beat up on pretty good, 36-0 by Greenville Prep. So not a conference game. It doesn't hurt them too bad, but it's a big loss and really makes people. There's a lopsided score, kind of throws people off there.
Okay.
Middle Georgia State lost to Atlanta Sports Academy, 16-6 this past weekend. Something notable about that is Middle Georgia State didn't lose a game last year till the national championship game. So, starting kind of 1-1 out of the gate is gonna, we'll see tomorrow when the new polls come out how the voters treat that loss. Then really the biggest news of week 2 was Wright State picked up 2 wins. They played opening Monday night, a Monday night game against Wilmington College, beat them 14-10, and then following Saturday, beat SIUE 35-8.
Wow.
So so that's a big game. SIUE is a cross-conference rival of theirs. So Wright State picking up two wins in 1 week.
Pretty unheard of in football world.
Right.
Two games, short week, picking up 2 wins.
Yeah. So I think we'll see the voters will probably respect that quite a bit.
Okay.
Come tomorrow.
So the updated pools are coming out
Tomorrow. Ballots are due today. New top 20 pools will be out tomorrow. But last week's Coppin State was at number 1. Robert Morris Peoria at number 2. Middle Georgia State was at 3. See what happens with them. Miami 4. OC Tech was 5. See what happens with them. Vermont was at 6. They'll play this weekend for their opener. Ohio State was at 7. Mason was at 8. They had a good win. Milwaukee at 9. Wright State at 10. So I'd expect Wright State to move up. But again, tune into ncfafootball.org or the NCFA Facebook group tomorrow, and new polls will be out.
What games this upcoming weekend? Any big ones?
There's 3 that I've got my interest on this weekend. First one is Central Connecticut and Vermont. Central Connecticut is a true collegiate club football team. It's not a member of the NCFA. It's a team I'm currently working with in a recruiting effort to bring them on board for 2015. It's obviously Vermont's opening game, so it'll be nice to see how that plays out and if it could go well for the recruitment of Central Connecticut. Tusculum and Longwood play this weekend as well. Tusculum, this is their first game of their program's history. Cool. So excited for them. They're going against Longwood, who just took a rap on the head from George Mason. So we'll see how that plays out. Really don't know what to expect about Tusculum other than they're excited to get on the football field. And then we've got Oakland and Milwaukee. That should be a really good game. Oakland in the Great Lakes East, Milwaukee in the West. We'll see how they match up, and it'll really showcase, give us a good grasp of East-West, which is kind of the stronger conference early on. I would like to touch on, that's week 3. That's coming this weekend. The next weekend is week 4. A couple big games that weekend I'd like to touch on. Loyola, Chicago, and DePaul. DePaul, again, like Central Connecticut, a collegiate club football team that's not in the league. We're currently working with them to recruit them to come on board for 15. So looking forward to see how they match up with Loyola. OC Tech, Middle Georgia State. Both 2 teams coming off losses this past weekend. Interested to see how that game matches up. Radford, Tusculum. Again, it'll be Tusculum's second game. Radford's first of the season. But Tusculum was founded by a former Radford player.
Oh, cool.
So there's going to be a little bit of a rivalry there, friendly rivalry.
Yeah.
So excited for that game. Robert Morris Peoria, a team that was left on the outside looking in on the national championship game last year. A lot to prove, strong program, still a young program. They're matching up in a non-conference game versus Wright State. Wright State, who we just talked about, picked up 2 wins. real excited for that game. And then SIU Miami, two teams that have battled each other since the creation of the NCFA. So should be a good matchup there as well.
It's called timing right there. Did it. That was good.
After a year, I'm finally getting my pace.
I saw something, I think it was Tusculum's varsity program, but they were in the news. I think they beat a team by a ridiculous margin and only allowed like negative something yards anyway. Phone caller coming in.
Is this John Clark?
Yes, it is.
John Clark, Sandy Sanderson, Christian Smith. Welcome to Suite 301.
Thank you. I'm happy to be on the show.
For those watching, tuned in, John Clark is the head coach of the Loyola Club football team. And I was just talking about your team a little bit as one of my games to watch here, week 4. You guys in DePaul, both being in Chicago, crosstown rivalry. Should be fun.
Yeah, it's nice to have a close rival like that. But the rivalry goes a little deeper than just location. They started their club team based off our model of how we started ours. And actually, their head coach was my assistant at Loyola. So there is a nice symmetry between our two schools. But beyond proximity, it's a true rival, which we're really looking forward to the game.
Outstanding. And you and I will be in touch prior to that game so we can work on some co-recruiting to get them in the league for next year. But,
yes, we will be.
All right, sounds good. Well, hey, I got a couple questions for you. What is it that got you involved with Loyola Club football? What was it that inspired you to make this jump?
Well, I was an NCAA football player for Millikan University, which is in central Illinois. And I coached some semi-pro ball, some NCAA Division III ball. And when this opportunity came up, it was really a chance to get back to what I really love about coaching, which is taking a kid's football IQ to another level. Teaching safety and teaching the ins and outs and the X and O's. And my big thing in my staff is the why behind why or how you do things in football. Why are you calling a cover 3? Why are you running a slant route? That was really intriguing. So when it came to a club team, you got these kids that, for the majority, never thought they'd play football again, or never had the opportunity, or missed an opportunity. So you encompass all that together, and now bringing football back to the Chicago lakefront. It was just too good of an opportunity to turn down.
Outstanding. I love that idea there where you're teaching the why. Too many coaches out there just say this is what you're supposed to do and don't explain the depth and the thought process behind it. So I love that idea that you're getting the analytical in and out to the players as well. What do you think about the strengths of your team for this season? What are you guys going to rely on for success?
We our first game is this weekend versus a non-NCFA school, formerly Columbus State, not the other Columbus State, the junior college Columbus State.
Right.
So not sure where our strengths are. Practice you can only tell so much. However, in general, this is the biggest team we've had in the last 3 years. We had a 41-year hiatus between the club teams. So when we got resurrected in 2012, we're just pulling anybody that can fit a helmet onto our team. So you can imagine the lack of size and football knowledge that we had that first year, although we had some great warriors. Then last year, we really started becoming an actual college football team, although our record didn't reflect it. We grew in many areas. So this year, it's really impressive to see not only our veterans really taking that leadership role where, we don't have to explain drills and go walk through things as slowly as we did before because they know it. They can lead the other guys in it, which allows us coaches to really focus on safety, technique, scheme, things of that nature. And the freshman class we brought in, now that the majority of people around the area know that we have football, is really athletic and big. So we're excited to use those guys.
Outstanding. And who do you view as your toughest competition in the Great Lakes Conference?
Well, I know Robert Morris lost some guys, but playing them last year was really an eye-opener. They got organized very quickly, and they pull from that central Illinois area that I'm familiar with from my college days, and got a lot of great athletes. And they gelled together pretty quickly. So, although we've had I wouldn't say a rivalry, but we played Southern Illinois a few times, and obviously they always give us a good game. And our Wisconsin-Milwaukee team just north of us, we have a nice friendly rivalry with them too that we think we could take to the next level. Robert Morris, as of now, is the team to beat.
All right. And so what, with if your sights are, they got the bullseye on their back, in your opinion, what are your team's expectations for this year? How far can your team get to?
Again, this kind of goes back to the original answer I gave. Is the veteran presence and leadership is something that every coach craves, but I've got it in spades this year, which is, just such a relief to have. And again, some of the size and skill set of our incoming freshman class is very impressive. I don't really believe in forecasting Nostradamus style, we're going to go 3-3 and that's success, or we're going to do this and this. As cliched as it is, we're going to take it one game at a time because we haven't proven anything other than that we're dedicated and other than that we want to succeed. But we haven't proven anything in games yet to warrant necessarily targeting in Robert Morris and saying, we're coming for you. We can only honestly take it one game at a time and say, we got to take this opponent down, be that underdog that uppercuts the giant, and then once we start becoming noticed around the league, we got to sustain.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this season, and congratulations on what you've got together so far, and hopefully we'll have you on the show later on in the NCFA season as things progress.
That sounds great. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, Coach John Clark, head coach of Loyola Club Football, and I really like he brought up some very valid points there.
Yeah,
he's
It
not
is.
blowing smoke. He's got an analytical thought process to it.
That's good. I'm looking forward. When are they playing Robert Morris?
Robert Morris. I'm going to turn it off to before.
Sorry.
Okay.
Week down
Tune
the
into
road.
ncfafootball.org. Hit on schedules. Click Loyola, and their schedule will open up right before you.
Bam, and then you can find out.
Yes.
Well,
Good for
thank you.
Too.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having me on your show.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Appreciate
rolling
it.
solo today.
Thank
huh?
you. A little
Yeah.
nerve-wracking.
Okay. Thanks.
Have a great one. Now, I am extremely excited to bring on our next guest, Craig Budzik. Hey, Craig.
It's good to be here. Good to
How
be
are
here.
you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing real good, man.
Good. It's good. It's
We're
good.
going to talk sponsors.
We're gonna talk some Rawlings today, I think.
Let's talk some Rawlings. How long have you been here?
I've been here for about almost 2, maybe 3 months.
So I have your first month on the job been. How's the first 3 months been so far?
It's been good,
Learning a lot?
I'm learning a ton from, everyone here in
Yep.
the office. Eric, who was the last Rawlings rep, has been teaching me, the ropes and everything.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. I have a
Right.
great time.
I know
Great
you're
time.
working hard.
Yeah, it's been busy, very busy.
Now is the equipment order forms, and that's
Yes.
kind of your
It's
subject.
It's-
And I know that it's very, very busy this time of year. But
very busy.
let's talk Rawlings. We have the basketball partnership.
Yep.
What's the deal? How's it helping teams?
So now Rawlings has jumped on as the official uniform supplier of the NCBBA. What Rawlings is going to do is they're going to offer, it's called the flight program, to our NCBBA teams. And what's cool with the flight program is that there's 3 options, jersey models you can choose. One option is a reversible option, which you can design colors and put your team name, logo name on that and everything. And the other 2 models the flight program's going to offer are your typical basketball jerseys. They're different from one another because of some side inserts and different things you can do. But teams can take advantage. They get 40% off, and they can actually get a full set of uniforms for $30.
That's a good deal.
So if you're an NCBBA team and you need uniforms, please email me and I'll give you a quote and you can get things rolling there.
We always say the least you can do
Exactly.
is get a quote.
Yep.
You might have a mom and pop shop that gives you a great deal, great, but we might be able to beat it. So
Absolutely.
talk to Craig. He might be able to get you a better price, and so at least
Yeah.
get a quote from him. The other thing we've kind of beat to death, the equipment order forms.
Yes.
Those are all out to
Those-
softball, baseball.
Softball, all NCSA teams should have received them. Again, as I said, there's about 10 teams who have not. So if you haven't, please get that into the ASAP, because I know you guys want your softballs. And as Eric said before, all D1, D2 baseball teams that play in the fall have received them. And if you haven't got your form into me yet, please do so as soon as possible. And today we're actually sending out the D1 forms for the rest of D1, and tomorrow all D2 forms should be out.
So by the end of the week,
yes,
you should have an equipment order form. If you
Everybody.
don't, talk to Craig and say, I didn't get it. Can I get another one? So look out for it. It's free equipment for you. Fill it out, send it back. It's real easy. Anything else, Craig?
That's it. NCBA teams and NCSA teams, 40% discount till November 31st. So
Take advantage of
take
that
advantage
too.
of it now before it jumps down to 35%. So
Craig, it's been a
it's
pleasure.
been a pleasure.
Get off the set. Well, let's go on to our next segment. Bring our next guest on. Just kidding. That's the end of the show. We're gonna close up shop. I hope I wasn't too big of a bumbling idiot. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. The next episode, October 21st, 2014, at 3:01 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, 12:01 Pacific Time. You can find a recording of today's show online at www.ustream.tv/channel/suite301. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for all your latest updates. See you next time.